Join Voices on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM, connecting our community through history, heritage, art, and culture. We share the stories of Highline region and its people, embracing our differences and celebrating what we share.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy from the Highline Heritage Museum and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is exciting. I am excited for this guest. She is wonderful. I don't know her for that long, but the little things that I've seen, she's just beautiful and wonderful in many different ways. Why are we doing this? Why not? Why not to connect our neighbors? Why not to connect to our co-workers and friends in schools and business? Why not to connect to each other? So that's what we're doing this for. So thank you again for joining us. Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so who are you?
Hi, my name is Meredith von Trapp, and I am the current director at Waskowitz Outdoor Education Center in North Bend, Washington. I wore my sweatshirt today, and I'm on the shores of the South Fork of the Snoqualmie River. And first of all, thank you so much, Nancy, for letting me be a part of this interview today and for inviting me. I always take an opportunity to talk about Waskowitz and the amazing things that we get to do here. And a little bit more about me. I like to say that my educational journey started at Waskowitz about 23 years ago. I was actually living in Oregon at the time and found out about Waskowitz and that there was a job opening. And so I started here about 23 years ago as an outdoor educator and knew from a really early age that I wanted to teach, but realized that teaching outdoors was extra amazing, where you could be outside and also working with young people. And so I did that for a few years, but then I went back and actually did get my teaching degree and taught fifth grade for 10 years in the classroom here in Snoqualmie Valley. And then came back again to Waskowitz in different roles as a program manager and now the director. And I feel like that educational journey gives me a lot of experience to draw from in my current role and the work that we do here at Waskowitz.
Yeah, I think that, it's a lot different when you move from a different state or a different community and trying to understand kind of the culture of it. And so the idea that you already had that taste, you already know. And then there is, I guess, the commitment, the passion, the caring goes deeper too, because you already have invested emotionally on it. What is the part that excites you the most on your job here for this organization?
I think the thing that excites me the most about working here at Waskowitz specifically is that we have the opportunity to interact with every student in Highline Public Schools. And so I think about like the big picture view of having an outdoor school that is attached to a school system and how incredible it is that Highline for so many years has prioritized outdoor learning experiences for students. And I'm not sure if all of these students would have an experience like this to go away for 4 days and spend this time outside with their peers. And so I love that the fifth graders have that opportunity. I love that the high school students are mentoring the younger students, and then that they get to come back that they come first as fourth graders for the Living History program. I guess what I'm saying is that there are multiple points of access for our Highline students. And because Waskowitz is a part of Highline, it's just seamless. So I love that part.
I've been working in preserving the history here in Highline for 20 plus years. And Waskowitz is one of those. Every time I cross it, either as a photo, as a story, as a person, it's always this big smile. There's always this attachment to it, as the time passes. So right now you're focusing on the kids that you're working currently. But will you mind, I don't know how much you know, but like a little, so people can, for the ones that don't know who Waskowitz is, what that is, and then how long it's been in service, and why people react so lovable in a very lovable way to this project, because it's a very beloved thing for the community. And like I said, there's even me as a person that did not grow up in the area, just feeling the energy of the people that are like, yes, this topic, and then this, and then, oh, I did it, I did that, or I got my tree, or I learned this. And so tell us a little bit more about what, just from the outside perspective, why is it such a beautiful organization?
Mhm. Uh, when I saw you last time in person, I was out in Burien wearing my sweatshirt, and I had that exact moment of someone coming up to me, and it was a sibling of a high school student who had been to Waskowitz many times, and they just wanted to share how well their student was doing, and that was a pretty amazing connection. In terms of like zooming out, big picture view for people that may not be familiar with Waskowitz. Um, Waskowitz has been running outdoor programs for over 75 years. Of course, it's changed during that time, but the big idea of it being a true mix between science inquiry, observations, learning about the natural world, combined with the social emotional learning aspect of living and learning alongside your peers overnight for several days is something that has continued throughout all of that time. So currently, the way the program works, we used to have sixth graders come and stay overnight, but a couple of years ago, sixth grade moved to the middle school, and for a couple of years, we did the outdoor school program as a middle school program, but then decided to switch it back to elementary. So there was one year where we did all fifth and sixth at the same time, but now it's relocated back into the elementary school as an elementary program. And the students come with their whole class and their teacher, and they usually come from a Tuesday to a Friday, so 4 days, 3 nights. And they're here with another school most often. So they're meeting people from another school for the first time, and they're all mixed up in the cabin. So I always like to say it's that real world application of the things that we're often talking about in school. And I feel like I can say that because I was a classroom teacher, and those were things that I was teaching with my students. So how do you go outside your comfort zone and make new friendships and resolve little issues that pop up? They have that experience here. That's the cabin life, and they love it. They absolutely love their cabin time, being with their high school leader. They get to create a skit or sing a song on the last night. And it's amazing to see their growth, even in that short amount of time, of how much confidence they have to get up on that stage and to do that in front of their peers. So that's the SEL component. And I think students really latch on to that aspect of outdoor school. Then, of course, there's the whole point where we're out on the trail. We're exploring the forest and the river. And the big question that students are answering when they're here is what lives here. So they're doing all of these really neat lessons like Case of the Disappearing Log and lichen exploration. So making observations, asking questions, learning about the world around them. And then all of those pieces of information that they gather, they put on this giant ecosystems model map to answer the question, what lives here? And tying it back to the SEL component again, people live here. So we're always looking for ways to try and connect things, like connect things together, connecting people in places. We say that a lot, that's what we do. And so I think when students walk away, they have this profound moment of getting to explore and be outside and look for cool things and try to make sense of the world, and also a sense of belonging and the community building piece that they do in the cabin. I could go on and on, but
no, and then I want you to go on and on and on. So you still got plenty of time. So no, you're welcome to just let it run with it. And you know, as an immigrant myself, I did not grow up with this type of opportunities in camping, and those seems so alien to me even now that I've been in this culture for 30 plus years. And the concept of, sending our kids to camp. And I know that as one of the discussions that's taking place as we become more and more diverse communities and how that is interpreted. But going back to the historic and the roots and the foundation of the organization, the memories that is passed down from one generation to the next generation. And it's beautiful to see that, say, maybe, the grandmother was there and then the mom was there and then now the daughter is there. And so what you think of that generational legacy that you carry on, because now it is you carrying what has been going on for 75 years.
Mm-hmm. I love that you bring that up, the generational legacy. When we do orientation on the first day, one of my first questions to students is, how many of you have been here before? Because maybe they came for the fourth grade program. How many of you have a sibling, guardian, parent, aunt, uncle, and then great, and then great. And so many hands go up. And I think you're right that the generational piece is so important. And it's something that we certainly think about, how this experience may not be something that is the norm in our students' cultures. And the whole experience itself carries a lot of weight of responsibility for Waskowitz staff and to me personally, that families are trusting of us to have their students go away with their teacher in the class to an overnight experience 45 minutes away in a new location. So it's something that we know how big of a deal that is for a lot of our families. And I think perhaps that's maybe one of the benefits to switching back to elementary. Elementary students they spend more time with their homeroom teacher, their elementary school teacher. So also going with that known teacher that they have spent time with, the school knows the student, the family knows the teacher that the student's going with. We really try to think intentionally about those pieces of how we can set the student and the family up to feel most supported to have this experience.
Yeah, no, I think that once you feel safe, once you feel comfortable, I can see the anxiety go down and the fear and the worries go down, and then really embrace what everyone in the community has been enjoying for this many years, which is the wonder of nature and connecting with each other and all the different elements that you describing. But yeah, it is a very interesting conversation that I'm sure you see in front of you when with students and parents are hesitant, and there's no, that element of trust is not integrated in the culture where we're from. And so it is like, no, you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. But I think that with kindness, empathy, openness, transparency, and humbleness too, like, hey, this is an opportunity, and then being able to develop that the healing tool that we all want. I mean, one element that you have not talked about, all the benefits it is for anyone that comes in, is how healing it is for people. Just being in nature, and just how physiologically wise, mentally wise, psychologically and physiologically, I mean, even in your spiritual way, it is so healing to be in places like that. But when you combine that safe space with classmates, with with experiences of wonder and being curious, so you have a very beautiful job. You got a very beautiful and inspiring place where just that's my interpretation of why people feel so attached to it. And it's just because it is not only one element, but many combined. Um, how are the conversations that you're having with the older generations when they come to you and tell you about the stories that they experience?
Thank you for acknowledging the healing power in nature. Yes, I definitely agree with you. They reminisce a lot. They reminisce a lot about the activities that they maybe did before, and how those activities have maybe changed. There's lots of memories about the fish that used to be in the water fountain, and I think they let fish go in the river. And then of course the tree planting, that was a very big deal for a very long time. Students would go home with a little seedling, and I know there was even a contest not too long ago about their Waskowitz trees down in Buren, and I definitely hear about those trees, which is really cool. I think the generation now probably thinks the most about what you just were referring to in terms of um, the healing power of nature, not being attached to technology for 4 days, putting the phones away, putting the video games away, connecting with each other, and then connecting to this land, connecting to this place. I think gives students sometimes a reset that they didn't even know that they needed. And I also think that it's permission to do that. I mean, I'm a mom. I have two children who love their phones and love their technology, and it's how they communicate. It's the ways of today. And so I think the idea of removing that, and it's like they don't even have to feel the tug back into technology. It's like this free pass card where they just get to come and be present in this moment and not worry about all the things going on their phone or in their video games. And so I think the older generation really sees the value in that and appreciates that part of this experience. And then of course they want to reminisce with their children about the experience they had. And so I think it's fun for them to sit around when they get back and share experiences, because I know some things have changed, but there's a lot of things that are the same. And I think there's some traditions that we're doing here that have been going on for a long time. So I know that a student coming today, if their parent was here in the last 20, 30 years, there are going to be some similarities for sure.
Do you think there are similarities from 75 years?
Yeah, I do. There's actually I don't know if you know this, but there's actually a very old video called Classroom in the Cascades. I think it was filmed in the 40s. And yeah, we're still eating in the dining hall. They were still doing overnight experiences at that time. That was quite different because it was older students at first that came. It's not quite the structure now as it is now with outdoor school. But yeah, I think the heart and soul of outdoor learning at Waskowitz has remained. Like the reason why this place was sought after, why so many people cared to expand the land and to have this program. I think a lot of those values are still here. So
that is amazing. That and you said it right. That, the nature and the structure of maybe not the small details, but the general view and purpose and heart and reason why the organization exists. There's, to me, I'll be honest and be straightforward. I'm very scared of this new generation. How invested it is such a fundamental part of themselves to be immersed in technology and AI, and none of us grew up with it. So there's this new first generation being exposed to that, and then we still don't even know the ramifications of what that means truly. I mean, we saw a little bit of how we all reacted in COVID, but those kids, they were like truly isolated and socially detaching from so many people in many different ways. And so I'm going to be very curious and see what happens in the next 30 years, and then how psychologically, or the healing element of what it means to be in a place in nature. We know that is healing, but how are this generation going to cope with it? Because it is going to be a coping mechanism for these kids that are so attached to it, and then disengaging, and then the process, the time, the transition from being like, it's almost like having like water to them, to now like, okay, no, you can let go of the water and you're going to be without water for this many days. And so I am very scared of not just for the camp, but in general in life, which is how attached we are, this new generation is becoming, and how normalized that is.
Mhm.
Imagine like 50 years from now, 75 years from now, what it's going to look like. And I think we are
Mhm.
right on the bridge of that, like
Mhm.
from what it used to be to where are we heading. And so I think at the end of the day, as long as that heart is intact, the
Mhm.
heart of connection, the heart of learning, the heart of being integrated into nature, regardless of the madness is out there, and the transition with technology. Um, we got, believe it or not, that was quick. We only got 5 minutes left. Anything
Mhm.
else would you like to share or summarize or to highlight?
Mhm. Yeah, I something I was thinking about that I would love to share with this community is that we've talked a lot about Waskowitz and our programs here, and I want the broader community of Highline to know that there are opportunities to come to Waskowitz outside of outdoor school. We are planning to launch our first ever spring break program this April. It's going to be during Highline's spring break. And so there will be an opportunity for students to come. And we really kind of want to explore widening our age group. So it'll be for a broader age group of students, which is really exciting. And then also, I would love for our broader community to think about Waskowitz in terms of it is a place that you can rent. So if you have a team retreat or an organization conference or workshop or something, I want you to think Waskowitz because there are lots of opportunities on weekends and a little bit here and there where people could come and relive their Waskowitz memory in a different way, though, and share it with other people. So, and then just again, really want to thank. I want to thank you in our last few minutes because we didn't really talk much about the Waskowitz exhibit, but I love that there's a Waskowitz exhibit in the museum and that students helped to create that. And so, thank you for being an advocate for the program here and for making sure that our community sees the wonderful work that we're doing and that we continue to do. So,
No, it is. Thank you for that note. It is a joy, truly a joy to open up the space and basically let people say, or tell people this is your playground. What would you like to do? What is it that you want to learn? What is it that you want to connect with? And Wasquez has been one very consistent one throughout the years. I actually did another exhibit many years ago on the Wasquez streets. And so I did that at the SeaTac City Hall for many, many years ago. And it was beautiful to actually do that competition that you mentioned about what is the tallest Wasquez tree in the community. And we were able to identify the families. And then on the exhibit, we actually recreated tree trunks and with real size photos of each other people that actually have those trees. And so learning just about the history and why it was so precious and connecting the tree with the experiences as a child that a lot of these families had. It was a very, very interesting experience. And so when working with the youth, we have around 7 groups that came in and provided photos, content, provided concepts, ideas, and how to design what is it they wanted to see. And so, no, this is just a community potluck, and everyone just brings what they think people will be able to enjoy. And thank you for allowing to have this partnership. I know that that's how we lift each other, how we thrive with each other, is by not only sharing but also cultivating those relationships, not for us but for our communities, and then also for in the longer term, whoever is coming after us, making sure that we do have those spaces where people should feel safe and provide dialogue and provide educational opportunities for everyone to be aware of what's in the community, what are the opportunities, and how can we create this beautiful community to be more like this ecosystem to be healthier. And so thank you for being part of that and for allowing us to have this little space to vocalize that. And so if people are interested in renting your space or being more connected with you, how can they reach out to you?
The best way to reach out is to visit the Waskowitz website, which is part of the Highline Public Schools website. And there's a rental page on there with some phone numbers that you can call and a rental request as well. And then in terms of the spring break programs, those will also be on our website as soon as we have finalized all the details. So we'll be sure to share that as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Now you, everyone out there, if you want experience again, if you want to go back there again and remember a lot of these beautiful memories that you have, or if you want family members to understand what this concept is about, you're welcome to go there. Or if you just want to tell your kid, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what your grandparents did. And so please support this beautiful project, and let's heal with each other. And again, thank you so much for this interview. We appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Discover the stories that shape our community with our Highline Voices on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM. Each week we bring you history, heritage, art, and culture from people who make the Highline region unique. From community traditions to contemporary voices, we celebrate what connects us all. Tune in and be part of the conversation. Our Highline Voices right here on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.